Welcome to Friendly Math 101. Today's lesson is over. Discrete versus continuous relationships. Let's first start out by defining discrete and continuous. Something that is discrete cannot be broken down into fractions or decimals. For example, people. You can't have half a person. So we typically say discrete things can be counted, things that you count. Continuous can and must be able to be broken down into fractions and decimals. Continuous situations we say are measured. We can measure them, such as height. Let's first look at graphs and determine which ones are discrete, which ones are continuous. So when telling the two from a graph, we always look at the picture. If the line is all connected, if all the points are connected between the start and the end, it is continuous. If the points are not connected, it is discrete. So in number 1, we have our start and our end. Between those 2 points, all our points are connected. So even though it ends, this one is continuous. So I'm going to label it with a C. If you look at number 2, those points are obviously not connected, so that would be discrete. Number 3, again, our points are not connected, that is discrete. And in number 4, all our points are connected and we have arrows that continue. This one is continuous. Now, the next thing we're going to do is look at examples in a problem situation of what could be labeled as discrete and what would be continuous. So just a couple examples. One discrete thing would be purchasing tickets. You cannot purchase half a ticket, so purchasing tickets would be a discrete relationship. Something else is discrete is the number of students in a classroom or at an assembly. Students also cannot be broken down into fractions, so that is discrete. Something else could be text messages. You don't ever just receive half a message. When someone sends you a message, you get the entire thing. So text messages are discrete. One more thing we could talk about are books. Books in a library. Books in a library, you're never going to find half a book in the library. So it's an entire book that cannot be broken down into fractions and decimals. So those are just some examples of discrete things. For continuous, some things you'll often see is time. Time is continuous. You can have half a second, half an hour. Something else would be temperature. Temperature is usually like 75.2 degrees, so temperature can be written in decimals and fractions. Something else could be weight. All of these things you measure. Weight, distance, height. So those are just a few examples of things that are continuous. Remember, discrete things are counted. We count tickets, we count students, we count text messages, we count books. Continuous things are measured. We measure time and temperature, we measure your weight, distance, and height. So the last things we're going to do here are determine whether these whether these problem situations are discrete or continuous relationships. So number 1, buying clothes. Well, if we look at clothes, we count clothes. We don't measure clothes. So that would be a discrete relationship. Number 2, the number of doctors. Doctors are also something we count. And remember, we talked about we can't have half a person. So doctors would be discrete. Number 3, time it takes to run 1 mile. Well, time was one of our examples of a continuous thing. We measure time. you can have half a second. Number 4, animals at a zoo. Well, animals, we have to count them. You can't have half a zebra. You have a full zebra, so you count animals. That's discrete. And number 5, length, hair grows per day. Length is something that is measured. Your hair can grow half an inch a day, or so that would be continuous. Thank you for watching, and for more math tutorials, please subscribe to our channel, Friendly Math 101.